there's an analogy out there that goes along the lines of you are stuck in the trees and you can't see the forest. And what this is calling out is the idea that it's very easy to fixate on small details of a situation rather than seeing the bigger picture. And when you're a software developer, by the nature of the work you are doing, it's very complex. It's technically complex. You have to integrate a good deal of business logic in what you're doing. And just naturally, it is so easy to get fixated on the small details of what you're doing, what you're building, and how to implement it. And what's really important here, in an attempt to see the broader picture, is to remind ourselves that at the end of all of our work, there is an end user who is going to interact with the software that we are writing and that we are contributing to. And there are a billion different things that we can work on as developers. The most critical question, the most important guiding light, if you will, should be considering what is the end user's journey, what at the end of the day adds value to a real user. By failing to do this, you can spend theoretically days, weeks, months, years working on things here and there, things that are cool. You know, it's very easy to stay busy as a developer. And let's say you just worked on a project for a month or several months or whatever length of time. If it didn't end up giving value to an end user, it's wasted. It's wasteful resources, which is kind of costly. And especially if you are in a startup environment and you are one of the engineers who's busy, you're acutely aware of the lack of resources you have, and thus the cost of making these mistakes, of not working on stuff that contributes significantly to the value proposition of the target users you are aiming to create a product or a solution for. It's wasted resources. So if there's one thing I would say when you're starting to learn how to develop, of course there's a good amount of time and effort you need to spend in order to develop the hard skills. You need to learn how to write code. You need to learn how to make architectural decisions. All of these technical skills. I think one of the most important strategic skills, I guess is how I would categorize it. One of the most important strategic skills you can learn is the capacity to understand an end user, understand what adds value to them. How can you make that translation of value proposition for an end user and then translating that into a feature that you create in software? And basically throughout the entire development life cycle, or if you want to take this pretty seriously, like the length of your career as a developer, think about how can I always constantly, repetitively circle back, revisit that mentality of, okay, I'm working on this thing. How does it ultimately drive value to an end user?